Welcome in everybody to the NBA pre-lock show where we're talking values, we're talking SGPs, we're talking DFS, and it's just me tonight and Adam, no ghost. He's off tonight, so we're going to try to roll through this, have some fun. And unfortunately, Adam, we talked off air. I'll talk again, but it's hard for me to have fun. Number one, got spanked in the pocket.
For you, buddy.
I got hit in the ass on both ends, right? I made no money. And then my team just absolutely
your team just gets
back.
waxed. Yeah, I mean, it was a disappointing night. Obviously, a lot of our wagers were tied to that game. It gets out of hand. There's not much you can do about it. Those two teams should compete on most nights. It should have been a back and forth game. And it's not like the wagers were that far off. Like if Harden plays the fourth quarter, he might get to that triple double. If Embiid plays the fourth quarter, he's probably over 30 points. It's the nature of the beast, man. The NBA is just unpredictable. And the only thing that would scare me as a Sixer fan, and we were just talking about this. Yes, it's a regular season game, but if Philly goes out early, man, you saw the issues that could creep in, right? Big game, James. Not really showing up for a big game again. Yeah, it's regular season, but this guy has a history of not exactly putting his best foot forward when the team needs him most. And we had talked last night. I don't think Reggie Miller is some spectacular analyst, but he brought up a really good point. If Harden's not hitting shots for Philly, they're shooting behind that with Seth Curry now gone, Matisse Thybulle not being an offensive threat, man. It gets thin in a hurry. Harden really needs to shoot well for that offense to function.
It was a great point. You tweeted, you hit me on DM, and it's funny. Literally, as you were messaging me, I was writing it down because it was. And here's the thing about it. I brought this up on Heat Ratio Live on Tuesday, and what concerned me, not only with the shooting, but was also with Maxey being young and inexperienced, right? So we brought up a topic of, if you had to have a point guard running the show, and I know James is basically a point, but if you had to have another guard run the show, would you go Kyle Lowry or Tyrese Maxey? And I said, listen, the only reason why Maxey scares me, I love the kid, I do, but sometimes this was a playoff game
before,
right? And that was a playoff game last night.
It was,
right? And he looked really small. And the thing that bothered me, Adam, was number two or 2 points. Harden looked like he shut himself down. When he wasn't, he just looked like the body language was like, I'm done.
Bro, he turned it over on the first possession of the game, and it was immediate. It was like, well, we're gonna lose this. I'm like, what? Bro, come on,
I saw that too.
Chill. You're not that even at the end of the first quarter, they were with 10, 12 points. That's not a big deal, man. Relax. It's end of the first quarter. Let's start doing some things different. And one thing, I listened to the mismatch today, the start of it with Kevin O'Connor, Chris Vernon. They really pointed out too. Doc Rivers sat and watched Seth Curry get exposed on defense for 3 seasons. They didn't attack that dude at all. You got to be hunting that matchup. At some point, when you can't get a bucket, when Embiid's just getting fouled religiously, and you can't hit anything else, dude, you got to find a way to get onto Curry. That's their weak link on that defensive end, especially when Kyrie is focused in like he was last night. He was really trying on defense, which, guys of his stature don't always do. But Kyrie came out on a mission, man. You got to give him some credit for just staying in Harden's grill the entire game and really giving him fits.
Yeah, that's the one thing that – I have to say, and I'll say that myself included, I was very careless with looking at how good Brooklyn can be if they're starting on all cylinders, right? Kyrie is one of the best shooters of all time. Let's face it.
He's an easy punchline, and it makes people forget how good of a player he really is when he wants to be. Yep. When he's on the court and he's focused, man, there's not a whole lot of guys you're taking ahead of Kyrie Irving. There just isn't. You can say what you want about him on the other stuff, but the dude is just immensely talented.
He is. He and his ball handling skills are on another level.
Yep.
And then you have KD, who I think we all forgot. I'm just saying in general, but that he's one of, if not the best player in the NBA. So when he's healthy, so this is you have to. The last thing I'll say about it is, the biggest fear I have is that this stage is going to be too big for Mr. Maxey. I love the kid. I said it in the beginning. I'm going to say it again. this is a wake-up call for the team, but Maxey is young. And the thing I didn't like was I feel like number one, he is the energy behind this team. And when he's not out there free flowing, the whole team suffers. And he shut down early too.
Yeah.
He did. It seemed like he was like, I can't do nothing. I don't know what to do.
I didn't notice him through a lot of that first half. And that's, it's not a great thing on a basketball court.
No.
And that's like, it's kind of the thing with the NBA, especially. Like, the young guys almost always have to take their lumps in the playoffs before they hit that success rate, right? Giannis did it. Booker, not necessarily the playoffs, but Booker spent years in Phoenix just toiling away before he really got his chance, and they almost got to the promised land. This isn't like a new story where the young guys, the stage doesn't always work out for them that first time through, and he's such an important part to that team now with nothing behind Harden and Embiid, because I don't know how you can count Tobias Harris right now. That guy is just completely disappeared after the trade. Like,
yep.
I'm not saying you have to be out there scoring 30 a game, but do something. You're getting paid $30 million. Like, it shouldn't be this hard for you to score in this offense with who else is on the court with you. It just shouldn't be.
No, it definitely shouldn't be. And you said the magic words. He just looks like he checked out after this trade. Why are they not? Well, why don't they believe in me? It's kind of like the attitude that I feel that he has, even though he's saying all the right things. His body language says other things.
It doesn't look like it on the court. You can say what you want in the locker room. It's everybody knows the things to say to the microphone, but when you're on the court, the way you play and the body language sometimes speak volumes.
Yes, body language is one of my pet peeves. For everybody who follows me knows I look at body language. Reason why I didn't like Ben Simmons, because of body language. So there you go, Ben. I gave you another caveat. Again, you didn't mention your name again. You should be happy now, even though you
probably had some pretty good body language getting back on a bus last night.
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did. Listen, one thing's for sure, it's going to be interesting. So give us a lot to talk about coming down the stretch.
I was going to say
16, 18 games.
I'll say this: you give me 6-7 games of that in the first round, I'm going to be pretty happy. That's going to be a fire series.
And that moment where you had KD and
Embiid going after each other,
give me that all day.
Give me that for 6-7 games, and it's going to be a fun time.
That's Detroit Bad Boys atmosphere with the old school bad. Like, give me that all day. I'll take that. That's one thing that's exciting. But listen, last night we only had 2 games. Tonight we got a whole bunch, right? So we got a big slate to look at. 10 games, double digits. Obviously, make sure WinDailySports.com is where you find the article that Ghost and Adam write every single day. Fully thought out games to look at, analytics, owner percentages, rejection model numbers. You got it. It's all in there. So make sure you go check that out and see what's trending. So as always, we have our cores. And it's funny because Adam sent me his and I'm putting mine in, and they're eerily similar, which is going to be interesting because I think some things just jump out at you. Adam, I'll put yours up there first. Valanciunas, Sengun, Graham, and Alvarado. And 3 of those guys have something really, really too much in common, don't they?
Yeah. So, with the Pelicans being short, Brandon Ingram with his hamstring, and now CJ McCollum's out with the health protocols. So Ghost wrote the article today, and if I had wrote the article, I would have said the exact same thing that he did in the article. And his point was the assumption was Valanciunas, Devontae Graham, and Jose Alvarado were going to be stone chalk. You didn't want all 3 of those guys if they're the top 3 owned plays in a GPP lineup, because we talk about all the time. If 50% of the field has that trio, you're already down to 5-on-5 versus half the field. It's not positive value in the long term in GPP formats. You have to figure out a way to fade. However, as the day has unfolded, shockingly, Jose Alvarado is not owned at all. He's under 10% right now.
Until now.
Right. Now, as things stand, I'm playing that trio together because the ownership dictates that it's not prohibitive to play that trio together. This is a situation where you're down Ingram, you're down McCollum, so the offense is going to run through Valanciunas. The Hornets have been tormented by big men all season long. I mean, anytime we've had a big guy with any talent level against the Hornets, we're interested. He's under 8K.
Yeah.
The other 2 guards are going to have to log a ton of minutes. They just don't have a lot of backcourt options. Guys, they're not playing the Miami Heat here. They're playing the Charlotte Hornets, okay? So yes, these are backup players. They're cheap enough that their upside is still 8x, 10x for each guy, really. Now Valanciunas isn't going to give you 10x. I don't think he's going to go for near 80 DK, but you're still not paying for him to go for 80 DK. You're just looking for 7. And under 8, he can get to 7 in this spot very easily. Jonas Valanciunas can put up 60 DK on a normal slate, let alone when McCollum and Ingram are not there. This is a slate where you don't have a ton of games that are like wildly overboard on their totals. It's a lot of 229s. Nothing has hit 230 yet. And this game is 223.5. Like it's right in line with everything else. It's only a 3.5 point spread. You want exposure to this game. And if you run all three, you want to be looking at a LaMelo Ball, at a Miles Bridges, as some type of run back, a Terry Rozier, something, because if you're getting the ceiling out of these three, somebody from Charlotte's got to be having a pretty good game as well. With Sengun,
go ahead.
Christian
I'm
Wood's,
sorry. Yeah.
No, it's all right. With Sengun, Christian Wood's not likely to play per Steven Silas. It's pretty much the same thing that's been last couple games. Houston's been pretty undermanned. There's been some questions in chat. You know, is Sengun too expensive? He's expensive. It's $6,200 now. This is not like a free square $4,500 guy. And this build kind of dictates where you're going on the slate. Because if you're going to spend almost 8 on Joval and you're spending $6,200 on Sengun, listen, it's $1,400. It's an investment that probably costs you something else. Maybe it's not $10,000 plus studs. You know, maybe you build your lineup a little bit differently from that respect. But with the savings of Alvarado, and that's why I'm willing to go there, you can fit either a Devin Booker, who's still extremely underpriced, it should be near 10K, and a 10K guy, or you can go 3 8K guys, RJ Barrett, Devin Booker, guys like that who have that 50-point upside, and you can put 3 of them in the lineup with these guys. So it just all depends on how you want to build your lineup. If you go Valanciunas and Sengun, you know, yeah, it changes how you build, but these guys are worth it, in my opinion, tonight.
Yeah, it's glaring. You know, it's a glaring oversight for some of these guys. It really is. Valanciunas, honestly, before I even read the article, so I let everybody. Honestly, I'm going to be fully transparent. What I do is because I want to be as good as these guys. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? So what I do is I go in there and I kind of fill out what I want to do, and then I read the article, and I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, I'm on the same track here, so I'm doing well. Before I even get into projection models and ownership levels, just to kind of see what my eyes dictate,
Right.
and I went right to Valanciunas at 7,800. I'm going, why is he under $8,000 in this game against Charlotte?
I would have been interested if McCollum was playing. Let alone McCollum now being out. Like
shocked.
He should have a monster game. He's top 4 in rebound chances. He's top 10 in post-up points, post-ups, points in the paint. Like this is exactly the kind of guy that you want against Charlotte. And he's with a shorthanded team, and they need to win. It's not like the Pelicans are packing it in here. They're fighting to get in that play-in game.
That's a good point because we talked about that before. You know, when we get to these 15, 16, 17 games left, you know, a lot of these picks that we do are going to be dictated by, you know, playoff races, whether who's fighting or even who's sitting on the other end. So a lot of that comes into play.
Unless you're Portland, because then you get blown out by 80 points every night now.
Yeah, remember we were like, nobody ever scores 70 points in the NBA, right?
Yeah, the Blazers almost said, "Oh yeah, Tony, hold my beer" that night because they got absolutely waxed. They were like 49 points in the third quarter. It was ugly.
That was bad. That was really, really bad. So let me get to my core. It's funny. So I obviously I like to mix things up a little bit. So you'll see kind of the same thing here. I have Valanciunas, I have Graham. But I'm going a little different, and I'm going with my man Ja. And again, the reason why I'm going with Ja is because this is going to be, in my opinion, a great battle, right? It's going to be a great battle against Ja and RJ Barrett in Madison Square Garden, right? Is that game in Madison Square Garden? I think it's in Memphis.
I think it's in Memphis.
Or is it in Memphis tonight?
It's in Memphis.
Either way, these two guys, two of the best young guards in the game, obviously, and we've seen the developments on both of these guys. Obviously, Ja being the greater, but I just think again when you have these kind of matchups, guard against guard, young guy versus young guy, stud against stud, and what Ja's been able to do, I know he's 10-8. I get it. But again, he's been able to really flip the scales lately. So I'm going to put him in. And I'm going to go Tyler Hero because again, we don't predict. Adam says it's great. We don't predict guys being out, but Jimmy Butler questionable with the illness. You have Martin questionable with a knee. And against Cleveland, even though they're playing in Miami, I really like this game from a point standpoint. And Tyler Hero, okay, again, a very honestly reasonable Tyler Hero at 7,300. I know last game wasn't his best, but before that, he's averaging 42 DK. So for me, for 7,300, trying to flip up the scales a little bit, I really like this kid. And again, he's one of the unsung heroes, in my opinion, a guy that I've overlooked, and the more DFS I played, I've gravitated towards, because even though he's going to be the sixth man of the year, he could very well start on 95% of any team in the NBA. Yeah. So really good luxury to have, if you're Miami. So again, a little high on Ja, little different, but just, where my mind's going. But obviously Valanciunas and Graham to me are must haves.
And honestly, even if somebody out there is not comfortable with Hero for whatever reason, and I mean I like to play. Cleveland's backcourt is pretty suspect defensively. I mean, Hero took 20 shots last game, so if Butler sits again or if Martin's out, you got a lot of open stuff. But if for some reason, you're just not feeling it if Butler plays, find the couple hundred, just pair RJ Barrett with Ja.
There you go.
And fill the small forward slot, because small forward is booty cheeks tonight, man. It is ugly. Thank you, DK, for changing LeBron again. I really appreciate it. I went to go slot. I was like, okay, I got small forward taken care of. I'll play LeBron. No, he's power forward center again.
Yeah, I saw that. Like, they flipped it up again.
First off, it's LeBron. I don't even know. You should just put him as utility, because he played. There should be some guys that just they're utility. You can play them wherever you please. Just so frustrating, man. He gets changed every third day now.
Like, just stay the
course.
Just
let him be. Let him be.
Yeah.
Kill him,
always got to do something.
Killing my builds. Small forwards.
Yeah, exactly. Don't they know? I mean, we're helping them.
We're trying to build a lineup.
Right.
Come on, man. Give me some.
So Ivan wants to know if we're okay going Jod, another Grizz player. I don't know. You have any guys in mind, Adam, or no?
So you can, if it's like Kyle Anderson or Brandon Clark off the bench, something like that. The spots where we get antsy is if we don't really go Ja and Desmond Bane, or Ja and Jaren Jackson. If you're paying 10-8 for Ja, you don't want Bane and Jackson doing a whole lot. You want everything going through Ja Morant. So if you're pairing somebody else, it's got to be like a bench player that's cheaper and can still get you 6x without needing Ja to have kind of an average game.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because he's so high, and it basically proves what your core is by saying, okay, I know I'm throwing Alvarado, Grant, but Alvarado's 3,100, Valanciunas is 7,800, right? The two of them combined are just as much as Ja. So
exactly,
it's a little different, right? A little different. Ivan did say he was looking at Kyle Anderson with him, since small forward is terrible.
Yeah, man, like, he's not special tonight. As far as small forward, my main kind of player pool there, just try and help you guys out. It's Barrett. It's Miles Bridges from Charlotte as a run back for my Pelicans exposure, which I may just land on that by default at this point. Marcus Morris in deeper GPP. Wide range of outcomes there, but Atlanta's really bad defensively. A little bit safer Terrence Mann for a couple hundred dollars less. Probably doesn't have the same style of ceiling, but I think the floor is a little bit higher. And then you get down to the punts, where you're just going to use the model to try and tell you who the best punt guy is at that point. It's ugly, man. It's ugly. If you basically, no matter what lineup you send me with a small forward in it, that's probably not going to be the spot where I pick apart your lineup tonight.
Yeah, your guess is as good as ours. Put it that way. So here, honestly, Tone says, "What about Tatum versus Detroit. I'll be honest with you. I was between Tatum and Morant. Tatum's 10-5, Morant's 10-8, and Tatum at home. Tatum has been on an absolute tear, and nobody on defensively on Detroit scares you. So I'm not sure, Adam. Where would you lean towards here?
The concerns are just the pace and the blowout potential. With Boston being
Yeah.
so good defensively over since January, this isn't like a 2-week sample size anymore. We're talking 2.5. We're going towards 3 months of Boston being literally the best defense in basketball. They might just strangle the life out of the Celtics. It is the highest spread on the board at 14.5. We don't like to predict blowout, but when it starts getting over 12, you have to at least keep that in your mind that it's possible. And this kind of strikes me as potentially blowout. And if you're like, it's kind of hard because I know I just said that, hey, that roster spot's just garbage. But like Trae Young's 10.1. It's really hard not to play a guy like Trae and possibly take a chance and maybe, go lower. But like that's a point where, like, if I'm playing a Marcus Morris or I'm playing a Terrence Mann, I kind of like getting Trae as the run back. So hopefully that game goes a little bit nuts at the end of the night and you can get both guys going at each other a little bit there. Get that
I
back
like
and
that.
forth.
I like Trey Man. I do. I love playing Trey Man. I do. I don't know what it is, man. He
It's
wins me
always
some
nice
money, man.
when guys do a little bit of everything, right? Like
Yep.
he can get there without having to score 30 points. He rebounds, he throws out some assists, he'll get a block here and there, he'll get a couple steals. Like I like playing those guys because they just feel more comfortable. And then if they happen to score a bunch that night, then you're really getting into the ceiling.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm one thing's for sure. I'm not gonna predict any team not scoring enough points because
Yeah, don't jinx somebody like you did
I'm
last
not.
time.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay out of that. I'm gonna stay out of that. I think me and you could basically agree on an FFVP tonight with
Yeah,
Jose Alvarado 3,100. I mean, it's right there. It's right there. We
yeah.
talked about him. He's there. You heard it. So definitely one of the guys that we want to look at.
And the
Then we get to
the
some
other
bet.
guy
Oh,
the
go
other guy
ahead.
I'll throw out because
Yeah, go ahead.
he's chalky for cash. So if you're building your DK cash right now, Maxi Kleber for Dallas is in the top 5. He's only 3,700. They're short a couple guys too. Jalen Brunson's out. You kind of plan to have him in your cash lineups at this point.
Yeah, that's not bad either, man. 30. Listen, and these again, like you said, 3,100, 3,500, under 4K. It's a crapshoot, right? But
Right.
you're not. That's not the guy's going to help you win. Right? Like
You're pairing him
yeah,
when we use guys like this. You almost want to think of it as Kleber or Alvarado because you're playing a John Morant, you're playing a Trae Young in that next spot. So it's almost like a combo there that you're thinking of. Don't think, oh man, I got to play Maxi Kleber. This dude might suck. Yeah, he might, but he gets you Trae Young. Like you're not going to complain
exactly.
if Trae Young goes for 70.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You got to look at who do you get from them, right? Who do you get from them?
Right.
So that's a good point because you're always moving up and down the ladder based on these guys. Because we sit here back and forth taking guys in and out of the lineup, seeing what the money looks right, and go, man, we can't get this guy in. Who do we take out instead? And there's so many. Listen, that's why DFS is an analytical game, man. You got to really get insightful with it and figure out what it is. Let me get into real fast. Give a shout out because before we get into the same game parlay and before we get into some props for profit, even though we are obviously a basketball show, if you can make sure you check out the Prize Picks article, picks and props. Jared does a hell of a job for us on there. Not only, and I have the link, I just put it in the comment section, so check that out. It takes you right to our site. Not only you're going to get some free money with the promo here, but you're also going to get a free month of Win Daily's tools if you sign up, if you're already not a Prize Pick member. So make sure you put that in your hat as well and get that. So we're going to talk props for profit like we always do. And again, I'll be honest with you. I had a rough day today. Yeah, not a rough day, a good day, busy day, just a lot of stuff going on. I haven't even looked at the bets yet. That was my second part, but we figured let's go live. It's a Friday. Let's get this out in the open. I will tweet some. I'm going to specifically put an SGP on that Pelicans game. All right, so everybody look out for that. That'll be on Win Daily at Win Daily on social media. So make sure you check that on Twitter. But let's get right into it. And Adam's got a nice combo, but Adam's been doing good with these combos. I like them because they're not very far fetched. right? They're not, and again, he's sticking to the ghost rule and his own rule. My rule with taking the guy that's in your core into your prop. So Adam, plus 256 is a pretty good deal for this.
Yeah, I mean it's only 2 legs, so you don't need a ton for it to hit. And as always, make sure you're betting these properly. So when I say that, you're betting these individually, and you're betting at a much higher unit rate or whatever you're comfortable with in the parlay. Okay, so even if you miss one, you're still making a little bit here. Okay, so make sure you guys are handling your bankroll well. So as long as you're hitting one, you're at least breaking even worst case scenario and hopefully making a few bucks. So always make sure you're doing those bets like that. But like we said, Joe Vol, Hornets, big man, like there's not a lot more to say, but it's kind of nice for him too that he doesn't have Brandon Ingram down there to grab rebounds either. Like he does not have a lot of competition to be grabbing rebounds tonight, and he averages 19.9 opportunities per game on a normal slate. Without Ingram being a focal point of the offense, I don't want to say it's a gimme, but I would be surprised if he goes under on this one. And then, Devin Booker, I said he's too underpriced for DFS. He should not be under 9K. And honestly, like the Suns need the wins here. Like it sounds kind of crazy because they've been on kind of coast mode the whole time. Listen, man, teams are starting to nip at their heels. I think the worst possible seed in the West might be the 2 seed because there's a pretty good chance you draw on the Clippers with potentially Kawhi Leonard and Paul George back. You do not want to face that Clippers team with potentially PG and Kawhi in that first round. They will be a tough out if those two dudes are active. So, like, Phoenix still has stuff to play for here. Getting that 1 seed and getting, a matchup between the Lakers or maybe the Pelicans is a lot easier in that first round than it would be for the Clippers. So the Suns still need to play. It's Booker without Chris Paul in his first game back. Oddly enough, for Devin Booker, dude, he took 12 shots last game. 12.
Yeah.
Like, how bizarre is that? And he still scored 23 points.
Yeah,
like, that's how good Devin Booker is, man.
Yes.
This guy can score like no others. Toronto plays that zone. They're going to invite shots, and that's going to be right up Booker's wheelhouse. 115 is a little kind of for us. We try and go a little bit higher. But, again, I just feel like this one's borderline a gimme. He averages 25.6 on the season with Chris Paul. Without him against in this matchup where he's going to be invited to shoot, I think he clears this pretty easily.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I do. I'm definitely going to play this, and you've been my inspiration with Valanciunas. So as you were talking, I'm looking because I'm already starting to research here a little bit, and I see this go up here with a 25 plus and 14 plus rebounds. Now
I like that.
That's not bad, man. Like,
yeah.
Going right off your 12.5 number. He's got to get at least 13 for you to hit. Juice it up one more. And, 25 is very attainable tonight in that matchup.
100%.
So, plus 380, that's not a bad hit, man. That's not a bad hit.
I like that a good bit.
So listen, you see where we're at. You see where we're going. We're directed into this game. Get a lot of ownership in this game, a lot of volume in this game. I'm gonna try to build a monster one like I normally do, like a 5 to 7 leg same game parlay. It was only honestly, I did one last night. I didn't share it with everybody for the Sixers. They included KD, they included Harden, and even though it was a crappy game, I still only missed it by 1 leg because Maxey only had 4 points. So, if Maxey is usually Maxey, we're sitting here and we're hitting a 4-figure SGP last night. So you never know. Never know. Like Adam, right? What you just take a shot in the dark. These aren't, you're not throwing hundreds of dollars.
No.
You never know. You never know.
This is not the mortgage bet, okay? This is pizza money bet.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, exactly. It's pizza money bet, obviously, 100%. But again, listen, it's Friday night. It's close to the weekend. Thanks for rolling with us all week. We had another great week here at Win Daily Sports. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're getting us on social media at Win Daily Sports on all social formats. You're following the articles every single day. I tweeted the Prize Picks article for NHL for all you NHL fans. And even if you're not an NHL fan, Jared has been nailing these Prize Picks. I'm just telling you, even if you're not an NHL fan, you might want to check it out. You might become an NHL fan after tonight. If you
don't have to be an NHL fan to fill out the thing and make money.
Yes, exactly.
Just if you're not a fan doesn't mean you can't hit a few buttons and follow along,
Making money makes no No rhyme or reason, no matter what kind of sports fan you are. It's all about making money, right? So, as always, everybody have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you back here on Monday. Let us know how you made out. Let us know how your bets made out. Keep it locked for some more bets, some more props for profit for Tony, for Adam. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you next time on Monday.